for the impact of aging in Europe. We're now joined by Maurizio Bussolo, Chief Economist at the World Bank's Europe Central Asia office, and of course back with us, Haiyan Wang, Managing Partner at the China Institute. Before we begin, I want to show you a clip from yesterday's panel discussion. I'm going to get your feedback. Let's roll that clip right now.
In my country, it is the number of retired people is equal to the number of people working in the private and public sector together, almost the same number. So one-to-one, nobody can sustain a system where one retired person rides on the shoulders of one working person.
It is crucial that we change the way we are leading our lives. So we have to be very concerned that people exhaust themselves before their time, because they will be still alive and they may then suffer from great morbidity that could have been avoided. And so I think we need to realize that what you're observing with your parents these days will not be your aging.
So let me start with you, Maurizio. What's Europe doing right? Because I often hear that even though folks are getting older there, that it's okay. They seem to be able to handle it, at least in most of the countries.
Sure. Well, let me tell you first that Europe is probably the country that has reached the oldest age among all the world. So, and this is not a bad thing. It actually should be taken as an achievement. Being able to live long is a big, important achievement. Now, it brings some challenges, as you pointed out, one of which is, as the Minister of Serbia was pointing out, is the pension sustainability. Most of the countries in Eastern Europe have inherited this pay-as-you-go system. This is an institution that works fine when you have a fairly large group of young people that can sustain, that can pay, correct. When this pool shrinks, you have to change the system. You have to put in place incentives so that people save for their own old age, and a lot of countries have done that. Now, the other clip was on Germany, and one other thing that Europe is doing is opening up to immigration. That can bring new blood, that can bring new people, and that re-equilibrate a little bit the demography.
So there's a couple of solutions, I guess. There's a lot of moving parts. You want to bring in the young people to come work in your country because they, number one, fill the tax base that's left void because of those that are retiring. And also, if you're talking about fixed pensions, someone has to pay into that. And Haiyan, you know, we've talked about this before, but the safety net, specifically in China, there's not a big one for retiring. And try to help us understand, what do you get when you retire, and what are they trying to achieve, or what would you like to see happen?
I think that right now in China, you have 4 workers supporting 1 retiree, but that is rapidly changing. By 2030, it's going to dramatically come down to 1.7 workers supporting 1. So very rapidly close to what the 1-to-1 ratio in
So you have the same problem.
Europe.
You need more workers.
You need more workers. What China is doing, I think, is, or at least is considering doing on several fronts. One is to increasing the mobility of the workforce by changing the hukou system that let the migrant workers have better mobilities, moving from one place to another place, better vocational training. I think we could learn from Europe, particularly from Germany, in training the workers to be more productive. And another is perhaps considering gradually increasing the retirement age.
Oh no, I was going to get to that. That is
sensitive. Nobody likes it.
It's not sensitive. I think, look, I don't think any of us want to work till we're 90, but let's be honest, the problem is, and every government has the same problem, doesn't matter whether you're in China, you're in the US, you're in Europe, is that you don't have enough workers paying into the tax base, essentially. It's really just about money, ultimately. And if you want to provide a first-class healthcare system, someone has to pay for it. How does Europe manage, arguably, a successful system that they have now?
Well, I would disagree a little bit with you, in a sense that you don't want to change the way people decide about having children and changing the age structure. The age structure is changing if it's progress to become older. So you have to change rather the institutions. So you don't want to change the population so that it fits an old institution.
Do you think we should change the retirement age, I guess? Well, and it's already changing in many countries.
It has changed. And in fact, we have done some research. Having a pension is the biggest incentive to stop working. If you actually
Having a pension is the incentive.
biggest incentive to stop working. So if you change the incentive and you let people retire a little later, but still putting money in their retirement accounts, they want to work longer. And they don't want to necessarily work just to get more money. When you reach a certain level of development, you work because it becomes a little bit of an hobby.
Just very quickly, we're going to go to a break here. Do you think that would fly in Asia, sort of this increasing retirement age, that people just want to retire early?
I think that it really depends. Talking about the incentive system, what China has just done is reforming the dual track system. Right? Previously, the state-owned enterprises, not state-owned, the government. If you work for the government agencies, you can retire, and then you get 90% of your pre-retirement salary, and you do not have to contribute to the pension at all. And that is an incentive for.
I think some of us like that plan.
Like that plan.
Hold that thought. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, all of our panelists will return back with us for some final thoughts on what is really going to work to try to solve this problem that's happening around the world.